Welcome, Grand Rapids.
Thank you.
John Cena!
Who? Okay. And because Sean thought the news needed a little bit more feminine energy, we've got the world, national, and local news you may have missed.
You're welcome, Grand Rapids. This is
NewsFlash. Our top story tonight, we are not going to talk about Trump.
That's right, we are absolutely not.
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We really thought about it, and we just figured it wasn't worth the immense toll on our mental health. So instead, we're gonna talk about another rich piece of shit with a questionable marriage history. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez were married this past week.
That's right, and aren't we so happy for them?
Yes.
We're so happy.
Yes, we're super happy for them. The couple was married in Venice, and their star-studded guest list included those like Kim Kardashian, Ivanka Trump,
But we're not going to talk about it.
and Orlando Bloom. Bloom's ex-wife, Katy Perry, was set to be the flower girl, but had to drop out last minute to continue her campaign against Dancing on Beat.
A noble pursuit. Based on the invite, I'm sure it was a gorgeous event, and by gorgeous I do mean tacky.
Ooh.
Ooh. That looks like something created in Kid Pics, in my opinion, and I wonder if I could have done a better job, so I did. Please don't bother reading it. But maybe Bezos can use this for his third wedding.
We'll
Who
check
knows?
back in a couple years. Universal Studios have set their sights on Chicago to introduce a new immersive horror experience. And we're not talking about riding the CTA. Park visitors can expect to see Universal's classic monsters like Frankenstein and the Creature from the Black Lagoon, along with film-quality haunted houses inspired by horror hits like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Exorcist. Halley, what are you most excited to see?
Well, I've always kind of wanted to hook up with the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, mask on or mask off?
Mask on.
Oh, that's where we differ. Okay. Well, you can expect Universal Horror Unleashed to dish out fear all year, as if we don't already have enough.
Speaking of horror, in pop culture news, the popular monster plush dolls called Labubus have been deemed the latest and greatest trend. Consumers are paying upwards of $150 for these collectible plush keychains.
Now, you guys, before you hop on this trend, be careful. We have noticed that scalpers have begun to flood the markets with fake Labubus, which have recently gained the nickname Lafufus.
Reminiscent of the Furby craze in the late 90s and early aughts, these toys are also a little la-cuckoo and are developing a reputation for being haunted or connected to paranormal activity.
I've always thought that they do have a little bit of a strange la-juju, but I just love that ugly cute aesthetic.
I can get behind a lot of crazes and trends, but whenever I look at a Labubu, all I can see is Renesmee from Twilight Breaking Dawn, which brings me to the question I haven't asked you. Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Halley, I have a feeling that we kind of fit the same bill on this, so let's say it together, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Team Charlie because he's the only voice of reason in the entire series. Also, DILF.
Which brings us to our next story. Pedro Pascal is on the cover of Variety, and boy, am I glad to see him. This cover story is called Everybody Wants a Piece of Pedro, and they are not wrong.
Up until this was published, I did not technically know what a zaddy was, but thanks to this article, I learned that when we call Pedro zaddy, that means he's a handsome, stylish older man that we can imagine dominating us in a way that we would not object to. I certainly wouldn't.
Okay. We also learned that Pedro once had a pit bull mix named Greta, and we here at NewsFlash love that.
We love that.
Pascal also called J.K. Rowling a heinous loser over her comments on trans rights.
Big Zaddy Pedro does not tolerate bullies.
No, he does not.
After 37 years, Anna Wintour is stepping down as editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about who will be taking her place. Names like Amy Astley from Architectural Digest and Chioma Nadi from British Vogue are being thrown around, and we don't know who those people are. But we here at NewsFlash believe there is only one who can fill those big-ass sunglasses.
If the devil wears Prada, then this angel right here wears the weight of being Hollywood's rich, cool aunt on her shoulders.
a Devil Wears Prada joke in a story about fashion magazines?
Groundbreaking. The Grand Rapids Public Museum had to close suddenly on Wednesday morning after old and potentially unstable drugs were found inside of an exhibit. Sure, it's fine for them to skip a weekday for this, but when I want to close down for the day because of the drugs inside of me, I'm told that I have a problem.
I'll give the janitor points for effort, since apparently no one noticed his cocaine stash in the whale skeleton for years. It's so easy, just look up, people.
Yeah, well, actually, on the real, the drugs found were inside of the vintage Rudell drugstore, which was part of the Streets of Old Grand Rapids exhibit. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Historical reenactments are dangerous and you cannot trust them.
We here at NewsFlash encourage anyone who has recently taken old-timey drugs to seek modern medical care immediately. Side effects may include headaches, dizziness, and the sudden urge to get doped up on goofballs and recreate the carousel scene from Euphoria.
The museum is back up and running, so be sure to check out the shark exhibit, which is now featuring the endangered cocaine shark. Tickets are available through August 31st.
Apparently, these drugs were so old.
Halley, how old were they?
The drugs were so old, they were said to be the shit the pharaohs were smoking when they decided to build the pyramids.
Damn! Those drugs were so old, they had advanced screening tickets to the Big Bang.
The drugs were so old, they were given to pre-suffrage women who complained too much. The Michigan State Capitol security is being examined closely after Ted Nugent snuck a gun through their weapons detection equipment. It's unclear if the security officer missed the alert because the Nuge had a stranglehold on his attention or if he had just come down with a case of cat scratch fever. Maybe he was too high or just high enough. The Motor City Madman seen here, apparently testifying on behalf of Cabela's, as we all know, is a huge advocate for Second Amendment rights. And this feat might have just earned him a gold star and a spot back on the board of the NRA, or at least a VIP pass to the next insurrection.
The city... The city of East Grand Rapids has begun renovations at Manhattan Park, which include a new splash pad, updated tennis courts, and noise-canceling curtains around the pickleball court. This is all in an effort to protect neighbors from the sounds of boomers working out their childhood trauma on the court and risking orthopedic injuries to avoid their actual mental health therapy. You know, I just have to say this. Rebecca, if you're listening, I pay my rent and I deserve peace. Please make an investment into these curtains.
Please, Rebecca, we're begging you. A California woman's home was so badly damaged by a series of burglaries that even bears were able to get inside. Said the woman, even after all this, I would still choose the bears. The prosecution team is charging 11 individuals responsible for the burglaries, one of whom felt the charge was too severe, another that it was too light, and one felt that it was just right. Okay, so I know we said that we weren't going to talk about you-know-who, but that means that we should probably talk about the other Voldemort in this modern hellscape we live in. Ew. That's the one. Ew.
Tesla apparently had another oopsie this week when their trial robo-taxi program in Austin saw 11 documented errors in 3 days. This included phantom braking, curb hopping, and driving on the wrong side of the road. Apparently, Tesla took the city's slogan, "Keep Austin Weird," to heart by making its cars drive backwards down one-ways and do 200 laps in every roundabout. It's, in the end, all marketing for Brad Pitt's new movie, F This.
A 12-year-old boy from Oakland County was arrested after police found he had stolen multiple vehicles from a Pontiac dealership, selling one of the cars for only $30. When asked why he sold the car for so low, the boy said, "So I looked up to Kelly Blue Book, and apparently the Chevrolet Silverado needs a new catalytic and converter." Turns out he still managed to upsell the extended warranty for $3,000 anyway.
In psychological news, there's a dangerous new phenomena sweeping the nation. FOPO, or fear of people's opinions, is on the rise here in the US and abroad. FOPO is characterized as a social mechanism which we use to avoid rejection.
People suffering from FOPO may find themselves pretending to have seen a movie or TV show that others are discussing, feeling anxious when taking too long to order, not wanting to leave work before your boss does, and pretending to care about your coworkers' kids or your best friend's new boyfriend's opinions on WWE.
Oh my gosh, LOL, that is so funny.
Another example is laughing at jokes you don't find funny. If you find yourself struggling with FOPO, there's help. The key to combating FOPO is to have a clear sense of purpose. So instead of wondering, what does this person think of me, we can rewire that mechanism and turn inward and ask yourself, am I being true to my purpose? Simone, do you think you're being true to your purpose?
Yeah, I don't know, Halley, I guess, do you think I'm being true to my purpose?
I don't know. Do you think I'm being true to my purpose?
Fuck.
In comm news tonight,